Great. I'm Roderick Lakin, I'm Director of Arts for the Royal Overseas League. Today is Monday the 28th of October. It's early evening and we've just completed the semi-final auditions for the Australian Cello Awards. We've completed our deliberations and so we're just going to have a little chat to reflect on this wonderful afternoon we've had. Before I introduce my colleagues, and also I would like to say a big thank you to all 5 of the cellists who played for us this afternoon. It was a really wonderful, wonderful afternoon of music making. One of my colleagues said it flew by, amazingly, with 5 big concertos. That's absolutely true. Wonderful occasion, and also at the same time particularly thank the pianists. We had Sophia Raman, who played for 3 of the cellists, and also Timothy End and John Paul Muir. It's a very, very important part of the whole process to have first-rate pianists involved. It's been a fantastic afternoon. And I'm going to turn first to Geoffrey Saram, on my right here, and just asking, you're both a cellist and a conductor, so how would you feel about conducting any of those 5 people this afternoon?
Well, I was thinking exactly that while I was listening to them. And I would have been happy in front of an orchestra with all of the 5. Everybody knew their pieces, absolutely cold, very confident about their playing, beautifully prepared. They'd given a lot of thought to the music. And what was very special and what I always look for with young musicians emerging is that I like to call it the wow factor. And I think when these musicians, the 3 who we've selected, appear in Australia, you'll see that this is present in abundance, and it was very joyous to listen to them this afternoon.
Rohan, the cellist next to Geoffrey. We talked quite a bit about choice of repertoire.
Yes.
In the deliberations. It's very important in competitions.
That's right, especially when the standard is so high, the instrumental standard. One was wishing all the time that one heard them, of course, in one concerto, and they played wonderfully. But one always thinks in terms of the range of compositions that they would play. So it made me wish that I had the opportunity of hearing all the rounds, which of course is in my case, unfortunately, but I'm sure they all deserve to win, and they're wonderful.
Piers, you've gone back and forth to Australia all the time, so you're probably quite aware of the standards and so on. What did you feel about it?
Oh, I thought the standard is fantastic, and I'm just so thrilled that there's something for cellists of this level for Australia now, because pianists are well looked after with the Placenco competition in Brisbane, which is a national competition for Australians and New Zealanders to prepare them for international ones like the Sydney International, which we also have in Australia. And the singers are very well catered for in Australia with the Australian singing competition and others. So it's marvellous that cellists now have this opportunity. It's quite fascinating that 4 of the 5 semi-finalists are living overseas, and that's great in a way. They're all between 20 and 30, and so one would expect that they were studying or working on an international basis. But it also says something about cello possibilities in Australia, and something like this award will no doubt increase standards and expectations of what's possible of cellists in Australia. I think can't help but forward their cause, which is a marvellous thing.
So in the final in Sydney next year, of course they're going to be playing chamber music rather than concertos. What do you think of the challenges, the different challenges that will pose for them?
It was a little difficult when we were listening today. I was constantly imagining what would a person be like playing in a completely different style and a completely different milieu. And we, in choosing the 3 finalists, simply had to take that on faith. But what I felt quite strongly is that the people who we've chosen could sit and play anything in any context and be just wonderful.
I agree. They're true musicians. Not one of them played without great recognition of harmony and what was happening in the orchestral part. You know, they were all listening, and so I'm sure when they play a Beethoven sonata or whatever, sonata, they're at a level a great musicianly level to make that work. I've noticed that some of them are playing solos in the next round as well, so and some will go for contemporary music. It would be fascinating. It's impossible for everybody to do everything. I think in the first round they had a bit of that, didn't they? Bach and Piazzi studies, they had to show their technical capabilities in Baroque and modern stuff. I think it's possible that they have to play Australian work in the next round. There seem to be a number of Australian works listed, so I imagine that. I'm not sure if that's a requirement, but that's a great thing for Australian music as well if they have that. But yeah, you mentioned about pianists before. It's particularly important that they choose the right pianist for the next round, because I've always been amazed judging things over the last few decades when people turn up without a pianist whom they know well, without a pianist with whom they've rehearsed a lot, and just hope for the best sort of thing. It's terrible for music making, especially for sonatas. So I'm sure this slot will really be very cluey about all of that sort of thing.
I think it is something I think everyone would like to really congratulate the Australian Cello Awards for making this wonderful initiative and getting it off the ground.
Indeed, if I may say, I met with John Painter in Canberra earlier this year, and he was telling me about his dream coming now to fruition. It was an exciting one, and we have to say to John, a huge congratulations for having this vision in the first place, having the dedication to help the cause of cello playing in Australia and bringing it off, and finding such a wonderful ally with Roland Grediger to help make it a reality.
And we're here at the Royal League, we're delighted to be honoured, in fact, to be a participant in this wonderful initiative.